Bitcoin has really shaken up the market here by doing something that it hasn't done in quite some time that we're not used to seeing anymore. And there was an aggressive 8% sell off between last night, earlier this morning, that kind of thing. I just want to talk about a few things with Bitcoin now, kind of what happened, what to look for moving forward, some levels I'm watching, that sort of thing. Um, I know I was pointing out in my previous video that we did have this little bit of weakness here showing that we had, this would be a bit of a failed break here. So we did get above this previous high right here, but you can see it was just a wick, no candle body close above that level, and then just starting to see some weakness there. So, but you guys will know that I wasn't overly bearish yet. I said to watch for if we fall back into below this yellow trend line here, just connecting from this wick to this wick as a little bit of a channel here. I said if we get back into this level, a retest of that line may be a nice short opportunity. It was, but where are we at now? Does it make sense that Bitcoin may have actually found support? Because I know a lot of people are panicking right now because everybody and their grandmothers, including myself, figured that this push is actually going to top out around that 618 Fibonacci, which would be around that 48 towards 50,000 US dollar level. And I mean, that was on everybody's radar. So yeah, maybe the market makers are going to front run the market. Maybe we don't actually end up getting up to those levels, or maybe we're just not going directly there. I mean, the market's been pumping so hard that we're not used to any of this consolidation. So the pullback that we have right now, I'm not panicking just quite yet. We're gonna have to see what happens on the longer time frame. I like trading shorter time frames anyways. I did actually end up catching a good chunk of this short. And you guys know I wasn't even really looking for shorts overly because I was still bullish and I still wanted to play the trend. But I just had a perfect scalping strategy. You guys know that I always talk about my 1 minute scalping strategies on my live streams. And basically, I just had the perfect setup and I ended up on a 1 minute chart catching that move. Obviously, not with the full position because I'm quick to start taking profits, but I ended up catching a nice move there. But as it stands right now, I am out of my short position and actually have a little bit of a long position on the go. Because I just want to go over why I think that, I don't think Bitcoin is in that terrible of a position quite yet. I'm just going to erase this just to clear things up a little bit. First of all, we obviously have a lot of levels of support below us. I just want to see if it makes sense where we ended up finding support here, because obviously we don't know for sure if this is where we are going to bottom or if we do have further downside. But let's just see if this makes sense where we would be finding support here. And in my opinion, there is a decent level of support very nearby. Well, pretty much bang on here. And this is a 4-hour chart, you guys. So, I mean, this, in my opinion, this line here has quite a bit of significance. I'm just going to basically consider this its third touch point here. I know we did touch twice here. Just since it's so close together, I'm going to consider that once, and then carrying back to way back here around 27,000 US dollars. So that trend line does go back quite a ways. Where is that? That is October, middle of October this year. So quite a long trend line there. So yeah, that's one thing going for where we found support right now. Absolutely. It does make sense, in my opinion, that we do find something there. Check out my indicators here. I love to see that as well, just going in confluence with the level I'm watching, seeing a reversal warning with the MDX Algo advanced trend indicator here. And not only is this a reversal warning, but I really like that the W's are still trending to the upside. You can see that all these highs are just setting higher highs along this trend. And we also just set another higher low here. So I do like to see that. And obviously the trend can't continue forever, but the trend is your friend until the end, as you all know. And you can just see that these basically since back here, we've just been setting higher lows with these reversal warnings. So the one thing with this is we are getting quite a ways away from the previous reversal warning here, and when I'm using that strategy, that's what I'm using as my invalidation level. Break of this trend would be losing that higher low signal here, being invalidated with the previous signal. So yes, it does look good for now, but there is still wiggle room to come to the downside if we do end up pulling back. But basically, one thing that is nice with Bitcoin right now, that no matter what happens, even if we do dump, I don't care, because I'm just loving the fact that the markets are volatile, to be honest. I have played a couple of shorts now, just looking at scalps, and I have been continuing to scalp some longs as well. Playing cautiously by getting out of part of my position very quickly, but then hoping to catch more of a runner when I get into these positions. But just loving that it's volatile in general. But as far as the market in a whole, I mean, you can see I have so many trend lines, boxes, my indicator pointing out all these green boxes as demand zones as well, basically between all of my levels of support. So no matter what happens here, even if Bitcoin does dump this level, at least, you know, we do have very significant levels of support below us, which is great to see. So going into why I ended up taking a bit of a long position, I actually ended up scalping on the 15-second in the Discord community in MDX Algo Discord. Basically, I always talking about my scalping strategies and that sort of thing, and including on my streams. And this is one of them where, once again, looking at the trending W's, we also ended up having a whole bunch of my EMAs starting across bullish, basically holding some of these EMAs on the bullish side on top here. You can see it's green and getting upward sloping trending W's. So yeah, I was leaning towards a little bit of a scalp, and then we ended up getting some more bullish crosses on some more EMAs here, and it was just off to the races. So I only have a very small portion of that position still running. I think I ended up closing about 80% of it now, but gonna let a little bit run just in case this thing does grow legs, and in case we do end up getting back up towards these levels. Because I was quite vocal about the fact, even though I did catch a short here, I wasn't really looking for it overly aggressively. I just happened to see my strategy that I really like to play. But the fact that we do now have this supply zone up here mapped out by the indicators, what I was more so looking for if I was going to start shorting this market was a dump followed by a bounce. So, you know, if we end up testing back up into this supply zone, maybe we end up seeing a lower high W come into play here, preferably right in line with my favorite Fibonacci pocket, something like that. That would be more so right in my 786, 886 Fibonacci pocket there. Let me just clean this up a little bit. That is more so the type of trade setup I'd be looking at as far as starting to short the market more aggressively again. Is ideally I want to see my indicator agreeing that, you know, there's a potential shift to the downside where we're starting to see a lower high come into play. And like I said, in my favorite Fibonacci pocket there. So seeing that nuke and then coming back up and then looking for that setup. I'm not saying it'll happen. I am not blindly setting short orders here. I really want to see how those levels are reacted with, because in the game of trading, honestly, being able to react is hundreds of times more important than being able to predict, in my opinion. I personally don't like to set blind orders. I like to see what the market is doing when I get to levels that I'm considering playing at and going from there. And like I said, I personally am more of a scalper. It's not for everybody, but I like to get into a good scalp, take usually a quarter to half my profits relatively quickly, and then from there I'm hoping to catch a home run with the rest of my trade, but not looking for a home run every time I enter a position, because you'll get yourself into trouble if you're doing that kind of thing. Other than that, guys, just a real quick market update I wanted to bring to your attention that, yes, I know it's scary. We're not used to seeing this kind of downside volatility anymore because we've been up only for a little while now. I personally don't think it's time to panic yet. Yes, if we end up dropping this upward sloping support, I absolutely see the potential for, you know, flipping that into resistance, for example. I think it's very possible that we see some lower targets, but I'm personally not panicking yet. This is just kind of what I'm looking at for now. So anyways, my friends, if you did find this video helpful, if you appreciate it, please do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. If you want access to my favorite indicators, the VIP Discord, as well as a couple no KYC crypto exchanges, I've got some links down below for some special bonuses, discounts, and so on. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.